Good morning. This is a head, heart, and handwork, and it's let's talk about Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. I have had my big ass cup of tea. Yeah, it's a knitting thing, but suck it up. Let's talk. And importantly, a move to the comfy chair. Okay, so this was my third Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. I attended the 2021, which was virtual, and then last year the 2022. Now, last year, that was the first knitting retreat I'd ever done, so I had no idea what to expect. Okay, now I put it on a stable surface because I can nose both hands. Anyways, so what I learned last year in 2022 is that table choice is incredibly important. So last year, I ended up at a table not knowing anybody. In fact, I didn't know very many people at the retreat at all. And although these women were very nice, the term that I got over this weekend was owls, old white ladies. And there's nothing wrong with being an old white lady. I will be an old white lady someday. But they were like my mother's contemporaries. And we didn't have a lot to talk about. So I didn't really get that companionship that I was hoping for. And that's okay. It was a first experience. I still had a good time. And I decided to come back. But this time I decided to bring somebody. I have a really good friend who I've known for, oh my gosh, almost 20 years, who lives in the Bay Area. And I said, hey, there's a stitching retreat. It's on a weekend in September. Why don't you come up and join me? She said, all right, I'm in. So we got tickets and she flew in last week and we went and it was awesome. So when I went in, I was very careful not to just sit in the first seats that you could. I kind of like scoped it out. I was looking for people like my-ish age and her-ish age, and I succeeded. So I'm like scanning, going, oh, there. I'm going over there. So I ran over there real quick. There was 2 seats, and I'm like, are these seats taken? And they're like, no, they're taken for you. They're yours. And I'm like, yay. We set up. Y'all, I could not have done a better job in picking tables. These people were wonderful and so fucking incredibly generous. Last year when I went, every once in a while someone would come by and like gift you something, like this little scissors fob. I got this last year. It's just a cute little scissors fob to decorate your scissors so you can actually find the silly things. And people were handing out pens and notebooks, but they had like brought one for the entire retreat. So I thought that was kind of cool. I'd never heard of that. This year I learned what table gifts are. And the generosity of these women is just above and beyond. So let me show you. Look at that. This is awesome. Mari went around and gave one of these to everybody at our table. Whoops, get me out of the picture. And I thought this was kind of cool, but then I opened it. Check that out. It's a notions bag or a stuff bag. And you look like where's my finger? Right there, there's a little pin cushion. And right here is a place to park your needles. This was so well thought out. And was just so incredibly cool. Let me show you some more of the gifts that were given out. Okay, here we go. There's a way cool coaster and a grab it tool, which is awesome for when you get a snag in your shirt, just pulls it through. It's like, oh, a little book light, a button, it's a needle minder, and behind the little light is a card of buttons. But that wasn't all. Mari is a jewelry maker, so she had made all of these amazing scissors fobs and zipper pulls. Like, she had this entire box, and whoops. And look at this cute little hedgehog. It's a zipper pull. And I have it in my notions bag that she gave me because of all those lovely little zippers in there. She also made the most beautiful check this out. This is the generosity. On Sunday, which was the last day, She said, here, I made this for you. Check this out. It's a scissors necklace case. And she says, you weren't here to pick the fob, but I picked one for you. And is that just not the most perfect thing? I was like, oh. So I had to go home and find a pair of scissors, which I finally did. And I put them in it. So, and let me show you I took the scissors fob that she gave me and gave it to my kid. I have one of my 4 kids is a stitcher, and it was the coolest. It was a raven head skull on like bat's wings, and I'm like, I gotta take this one for my kid because this is perfect. This just screams Gwen. And so I gave it to Gwen, and Gwen squealed. Let's see, other gifts from the ladies include, this isn't my pen. Grace, I don't know what I did with your pen. I think it's hidden in my basket somewhere. But she also gave out these, and I'm like, what in the world is this? It's a glass nail file in a protective case so it won't break when you've got it in the bottom of your stitch stuff bag. There was also needle threaders, which were decorated. My little decoration fell off. But it's got a magnet on it so it will stay where you want it. And somebody else, I'm not sure, I don't remember who, also made, look at this beautiful, I picked the charm, which was a bee, yay, and it just is purple, and it fits beautifully with my takeaway sewing case. So this is my sewing case I take with me when I go places, and this is awesome. But check it out, it fits the whole thing beautifully. So amazing. So I started off with this because I wanted to thank my table mates and, my friend Janet, and I don't know how they are about privacy, so I don't really want to be dropping their names. But that being said, they are all on Instagram, and if you follow me over there on Head, Heart, and Handwork, you should be able to find them. So is Anna's Books and Stitches, Stitchy Natty, and I will have to look up the rest. Hold on, let me go. So let's see. Mari's Instagram is Mari_stitches_stuff. My friend Janet is the Far Places. And Grace, yours is, I'm going to butcher it if I try to put it. So I might see if I can't try and insert it here somewhere. But y'all, oh, and Michelle, Bendy Stitches? Let me go check, hang on. Okay, I was close. It's just her name, Michelle Bendy. They are all incredibly talented, big-hearted, wonderful ladies. They made the weekend for me, and I cannot thank them enough. I had such an amazing time, wonderful conversations, got some book recommendations, because of course we're all readers too, and kind of liked the same genre, at least several of us did. So we were able to talk books back and forth, which is always wonderful for me. Anna made a recommendation. I'm halfway through the book Legends and Lattes, and she was right. It's really good. I thought that rang some bells, and that's because I saw it on the Knit Girls over on YouTube. They're knitters, duh. But they also talk books because, hey, books are awesome. So it was an incredible weekend. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Acorns and Threads, for putting on this wonderful event. I am moving this summer, so I won't be local to it anymore, but I am definitely... It's on my calendar, and I will be flying up for it. So, yay! And I've made some friends, and I think this is awesome. I can't wait for another retreat. So, yeah. There will be more posts about stuff that happened at the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, but I did want to start with a shout out to the women who made it awesome for me personally. At my table. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day and happy making. Good morning. It's another Head, Heart, and Handwork. So last time I talked about the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. I'm going to get it right. And talked about the people and the generosity of the wonderful women. Now, stitching retreats are not cheap. It was like $300 for the entrance fee. And if I'd flown in, it would have been more, and the hotel would have been even more. I'm lucky enough. I live in Portland, and I'm also did not stay at the hotel. I decided to stay at home and commute because I could. But $300, what does $300 get you? That's kind of a chunk of change to spend. And, it's not just what are you getting for that $300? So what are you getting for $300? I think you're getting more than your $300 worth, because not only is it the hotel conference room for the 3 days. I mean, we started 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10, whatever. We started late 9 or 10 o'clock on Friday morning. And the room is open for almost the entire time. If there's somebody in there, when somebody finally leaves, the doors are locked. But we had access to that room for the entire weekend until about 1 o'clock on Sunday. So it gives us the conference space, which is actually very lovely lit. You know, one of the problems with doing needlework, and a lot of us doing fine needlework, I mean, one of the ladies at my table, Natty, she was doing 56 count over one. Beautiful stuff. And she was doing without magnifiers, just mind blown. So you get that. You get 2 designers and 2 exclusive designs for the retreat. Now this year it was Satsuma Street and ink circles. Now I love ink circles. So okay, this is great. So let me show you what I got. So at some point on Friday, it was afternoon, I think, they went around and handed one of these out to everybody. It was so cute. It's this little plastic bag, and it's like, oh, awesome. And tells you who it's from. So this was the bag from Ink Circles. And then you opened it up and found this inside. So this is the materials that was inside the bag. There's a pattern that is exclusive for us, I think for 1 year, all the fibers and the fabric, and a thing of tea, because who can't love a free cup of tea? I mean, I love tea. So I forgot to take a picture of the outside of the bag for Satsuma Street, but this is what was inside that bag. Once again, there is an exclusive pattern, the fabric, and all the floss. Now this one came with a type of floss I have never seen before or even heard of. So this is Cosmo floss. It's apparently a Japanese brand, and some of the other ladies there who had stitched with it before said, oh yes, this stuff is very lovely to stitch with. And apparently one of Cosmo's signature attributes is their color stability. So for example, a lady in Japan had inherited a piece her grandmother did not finish. She started like 30 years prior, and she went into their shop and they were able to match the color perfectly. The color, the dye process had not changed in that long term. Now we know we do not get that from DMC nowadays. Sometimes they'll change the dye formulas like 5 years. You get like, I'm throwing out a number like 525. And there's a significant color change in just 5 years. Cosmo apparently does not do that. They work very hard to make sure their colors are stable over the long term, which is kind of cool. It makes it convenient that if you have UFOs floating around and you need some thread or you ran out, you can get one that matches, and then you can continue what you're working on. Snarkles. Hang on. I did not need to record that hiccup. Anyways, what else do we get? So you get those, all of that, the 2 fully kitted projects. You also get 3 meals. We get lunch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday are lovely sit-down buffet style. They were very good about having vegetarian and gluten-free options, which was wonderful. The lunch, the takeaway lunch on Sunday. So it's like a make it, take it. They had it packaged to go. So there were sandwiches wrapped in plastic and bags of chips, so that if you needed to go catch a plane, you could just make your lunch and take it with you, which was really nice. Now for me, also being allergic to corn, there was absolutely nothing for me to eat on Sunday, but that's okay. I'm local, so I just went home and had lunch. No big. The other thing that you get is there's games. Of course there's games. Why wouldn't there be games? So there's a raffle, of course. I don't know. I think she gave out about 20 different raffle items. And I was very glad that everybody, lots of people won raffle tickets, but I was a little annoyed that the person who checked in before me and the person who checked after me got a raffle prize and I did not. Oh well. Um, that's okay. But there was also on Sunday, the draw to get you to come in on the last morning is a bingo. And the bingo cards have all sorts of slang and stuff that's all associated with cross stitch and like the designer names, and just, it's a lot of fun. You get a door prize. And then if for the first bingo, and then of course we did a blackout, and that was a big prize, but I didn't see what it was. But so that's what like $350 gets you. And honestly, I think that's worth it. It's more than $350 worth of not necessarily product, but goods and services. So yes, it's totally worth it. So I am planning on going next year, and I cannot wait. So in the meantime, happy making. Good morning. This is a Head, Heart, and Handwork. So this is going to be my last video on the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. I decided to take a week because I was actually busy stitching. I actually got a lot done, and I'll show you what I was working on. So I thought I would do the last thing. What haul did I get? So one of the nice things about the Stitch Summit is there's a free table where you can bring all those unfinished projects or charts, the stuff you don't want anymore. Fabric too, which is really nice. So I got some things off the freebie table. And then the other benefit of going to the Stitch Summit is that we get closed to the public access to the store that hosts the Stitch Summit, Acorns and Threads, here in Portland, which is always a wonderful store. I love shopping there. But I thought I would show you all the free things I got. So one thing that I mentioned was the table gifts, I think in the first video. And I mentioned I got a project bag. Check this project bag out. Isn't it awesome? I love this print. I already got something in it. It's the last two kits from the Halloween French Stitch pop-up. So that's in there. I thought I would show you by things that I got either free from another stitcher or off the free table. So one of the ladies at my table, she had a whole bunch of these quirky Quakers, which I think are cute. And of course, it's a hedgehog. And I was looking through them because I'd never heard of the quirky Quakers. Say that 3 times fast. And so I was looking through them and noticed she had a bunch of duplicates, including this one. She's like, oh, well, you like hedgehogs, so go ahead and take the hedgehog one. I'm like, cool, thank you. So look at it. It's going to be fun to do. So, and then off the freebie table, I found this one, which I think is absolutely adorable. This is the Folk Art Sampler by Tiny Modernist. I'm kind of liking their things. They're kind of quirky, but they're also nice colors. So I got that. That's going to be really cute to do. And it's not too big. They had this cute, off the free table was this cute little bag. I don't know what I'm putting in it, but it's a snow person. I might give this to somebody else. But you know, it's still really cool. Now I have one of my 4 kids is a stitcher. And this kid likes dragons. So I found this chart on the freebie table. This is Fire Wings Designs, and it's called Opal. You can do either or. There's list on the back for either the blue one or the yellow one. I also picked up this one. It's another Fire Wing, and this is Dragonfly. I really like this one. I may end up stitching this one too. You know, mushrooms. How can you go wrong with mushrooms? Now, that being said, if I do this, I'll switch it to a purple dragon because that's me. I do purple. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and Sasquatch is a thing. I thought this was a very cool chart. It was just a stack of them on the table. Someone designed it, and I'm like, this is awesome. So, of course, I'm going to have to do that at some point. This one is Homespun Elegance, all about Halloween. It's the same pattern, but, you know, one's in a little pillow and one's in a cat-shaped pillow. I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to do that. And the cool thing is I was able to pull fabric from Stash, and I picked up some Gloriana because I like stitching with silk. And I think this will be really cute on that. And then I bought 4 patterns. I bought Halloween Cat by Satsuma Street. I thought this was absolutely adorable. This was one of the designers for the show. So, of course, it was a trunk show, so we got to buy it. She had all sorts of stuff, so I bought this one too. Now, this one and the project, the exclusive project, I adore these. I think they're lovely, but I'm also going to admit, I don't want to stitch the whole thing. That's a little repetitive. But I thought it would look really cute if I did like the center motif and then just did 1/4 of it. That way I still do it, but I don't have to do the whole thing. And it'll still end up looking really cool. And then I got another tiny modernist. This is the Queen Bee. I thought this was absolutely adorable. Look how pretty she is. And there's mushrooms and bees. So it's got me written all over. The other thing I really appreciate about this pattern, please note, we don't have yet another white person. I love that. Thank you for being inclusive. And then this one is Blue Flower Samplers, and it's called Happy Campers. Now, that was really pretty. What it says is, I heard the morning wind conversing with the trees. I may take this one back. I'm realizing I really kind of like it, but this is one of those that I would rather have on my wall. Not necessarily one I want to do. Has anybody else ever had that problem? It's like, oh, that's really cool. I don't want to stitch that though, but I want it. And what I really liked is the example that they had in the store. So on this side, you've got the American flag, and on this side, it's just a mountain on it. Whoever stitched the store model turned this flag into the Rainbow Pride flag. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And I didn't check closely enough to see that the designer had not done that. So I was a little disappointed. But that being said, there's an awfully cute porcupine. There's very cute sheep. And over here, a very cute moose. And a very, very adorable fat bee. So I don't think I'm actually going to do this chart, but I may steal some of the elements and make something else out of it, which is a perfectly valid thing to do. And that was all I bought. And that was all the patterns that I got. So I'm really happy with my purchases. I didn't buy too many. I did not fully kit them out because most of those are using DMC, and I have a ton of DMC. I will try to use fabric I have in my stash to use it up, because God knows I have a lot of it. So I don't mind buying new patterns. I'm trying not to buy more stuff, because patterns, they don't take up a lot of space. And I emptied out, for the free table, I took in magazines that I had subscribed to in the 90s and the early 2000s and never stitched a single thing. So rather than letting them keep taking up space in my patterns, I decided to let them be free. I'm not going to make them. My style and things I like to stitch have changed over the years, and that's okay. We kind of grow and we change as we explore new things. So it's like, let them be free. Let somebody else enjoy them. And by the end of the day on Saturday, they were all gone. So I was very happy. I also cleaned out some of my fabric stash and put it out for people to take. Shared it with my table mates first. And a lot of that fabric went. So I'm very happy to have less stuff. I keep reminding myself I'm moving to a house that's less than half the size. So getting rid of my stash and letting it be free to other people in the world is a blessing. So that's something that is not a Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. Here's an update on what I'm stitching on. This is Dark Queen of the Earth. Let me get it over so you can see it. This is where I am. I'm almost done with part 2. So it doesn't look like much. It looks kind of weird, but you know, I'm getting there. I've got a little bit in here to do, and then a little bit along the waistline. And then I'm done with part 2. I'm hoping to get that done by the end of the week, even though it's not my project of the week. So I will continue to do the 725 challenge with my challenge piece this week. I'll just do the 25 minutes, and any other stitching time, I'm going to finish this. I want to get it done part 2 this week. So that's everything. I thoroughly enjoyed the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. I cannot wait to go next year. I mean, I can kind of wait, but I'm going to have to wait. But I am, however, looking forward to it. I made some friends this year. We're talking on Instagram, which is where you can also find me under Head, Heart, and Handwork. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day and happy making.